Hi, I'm back from the way home. I was watching my video that I had sent here on YouTube, and I was talking to you and everybody on here about prayer and what exactly prayer meant. And as I was listening to my video, there was some things that I didn't get to share with you and that I'm going to share with you now. And it kind of brought a tear to my eye because, I believe that I have to be real with you, and that's just what my character is. Why I had said these things is because for 20 years I prayed for my dad. I was very fervent in my prayer. Would not give up. I wouldn't give up on him. I prayed for him all the time. Almost every day I would cry out to God. I would lose every fiber of my being for my father. One day he almost died. And it was really scary because I didn't know where he was headed. Only God has our plans in his hands. And I cried out to the Lord when I heard about it. And I said, Lord, I don't want him to suffer, but I want him to know you. And I want him to cry out to you, and I want him to call upon your name, that he would be saved, because like I said in John 3:16, Jesus says, all those who confess his name will be saved. And all of a sudden, 2 hours later, after I find out my father's in ICU, on his way out from a sugar diabetes shock, he calls me. And I said to him, who's this? And he goes, this is Dad. And I said to him, Dad. And the first thing he said to me was, thank you for praying. And I just wept because I knew God heard my prayer. Well, come to find out, my father had had an encounter with God. He actually came to him and told him that he wanted more time with his children before he took them home. He made amends with his kids. He surprised every one of us on his last time to say goodbye to us. He flew across the country. He came to the door, and everybody was so shocked to see him. And he's walking on his walker. And he told us, he said he knew it would be his last trip, but he wanted to see his children. And we had a wonderful time with our father. That same week, we got a call, and he died of a massive heart attack. And he's been gone now for many years. These are the things I didn't bring forth because they hurt. And just because you pray and believe doesn't mean that always God's plans are what our plans are. Sometimes he takes people home because he knows that they're suffering, and they'll be much better with him. And we don't understand, because the pain that we feel through it all, it hurts. But what we can know is that they're in a better place. So every year I sing the song, what does it look like in heaven? Because what I failed to tell you is when my father was alive, he would contact me and we would sing on the phone together. During that time he was sick. And there's no possible way he could have known I was praying, because I was across country. He lived in a different state than I did. We were over 3,500 miles away from each other. But you know what? There's no time with God. There's not a place that you can be that God can't touch somebody's life. No matter where they're at. They could be in the deepest ditch in the pit, like I was. And God can reach down and lift you out. And that's what he did. Anyway, so Daddy and I, we used to sing together, and every year I would sing that song and he would sing with me. So during the anniversary of his death, that's what I do, is I sing that song to him, and it's almost as if he comes and I feel him with me. It's that special time that I have to remember him by. And one day, probably about a week after he had passed, I was sitting doing my dishes at my house. And when I was 3 years old, he used to sing a specific song to me. And all of a sudden, I just started singing this song out of the blue that I heard when I was 3 years old. And I knew he was singing it over me again. And then a few months later, I went on a web page. It was a song app because I love to sing. And this one lady that I don't even know, a complete stranger, she emailed me and she said, "Will you sing this song with me?" And it was the song that my dad used to sing to me when I was 3 years old. And there was a part of it that said, "You left so suddenly I could not say goodbye." And then the teardrops came to my eyes. And that's exactly how he left. Because he died so quickly we could not say goodbye to him. It was just like as if he vanished. Although we did see him the week prior, we didn't expect him to be gone so quickly. And the night before he died, he called my brother and myself. We talked for almost 2 hours. And it's his birthday. The last gift I gave him was his last meal. That's no coincidence. So you put all that together. It was planned. God had purpose. For one, he wanted to take him home because there was no peace in him. He was in so much pain and chaos all the time. Two, he wanted to prepare his heart to receive Jesus through my prayers. And I would not give up. I would not give in. I persistently prayed for him 20 years. And then 3, he reconciled our relationship before he died. So God had a plan and a purpose in all of it. Although I didn't understand it, and I still don't to this day, just like I don't understand. I've had so many losses in my life. I've lost 5 children, and I don't want to get into all that, but the thing is God's ways are not our ways, and what does not destroy us makes us stronger. And just because you pray and don't see it come to pass, just know it's because it wasn't in God's will and timing. Don't get upset with God. Don't get offended with God, because he knows the bigger plan. He has it all in his hand. I can share this and just let you know that many people are hurting right now. Many people have lost their loved ones. They're grieving. I still grieve. It's like it's yesterday. But just know one day we will see them face to face again. And that's the hope that we can have. And we can rejoice knowing that they are not suffering anymore. I love you guys, and God bless you.